Okay, so in this video, I want to show you how to use the Cameo 4 pen holder on the right side in your Cameo 4. Originally I was going to buy the Cameo 5 one, but it's out of stock. So then I thought, well, you know what? Probably be better if I show you how to use the Cameo 4 one because presumably all of you who are viewing this with interest actually own a Cameo 4. And on the left side, we'll still have the Cameo 4 Auto Blade. Of course, this begs the question, how was I able to mount the Cameo 4 pen holder onto the right side of the Cameo 4? Well, thanks to Kay Hall's suggestion, it was actually easier than one might think. So as you know, on the back of the various tools, and for example, this pen holder, there's some ridges, and those ridges are what allow it to fit either onto the left side or onto the right side, but not both. So in order to get the pen holder to work onto the right side, I needed to shave those down, and that again is a suggestion that came from Kay Hall. So what I did, I used a craft knife, and I very carefully just shaved them off, in layers until finally I ended up with a smooth surface and I could mount it on the right side. Now, if you're going to do this, be careful. Don't try to shave it all off in one go, right? Do it in layers, little layers and not too much force because I don't want anyone getting cut. I also want to emphasize that this isn't going to work if the software of choice is Silhouette Studio. This depends on you using SureCuts-A-Lot because SureCuts-A-Lot doesn't care about which tool you have on which side. Now there are some limitations such as no support for the rotary tool, but in this case with a pen holder, either side will work. So now in SureCuts-A-Lot, I'm going to pop out the Style panel and the Layers panel. Okay. So this is a very simple thing. It's just a heart with some writing inside of it, and the writing will be done with the pen on the right side. The heart will be cut out with the auto blade on the left side. So I select the heart layer, and then on the Style panel, I verify that it's set to cut, and it's set to Tool 1, red, which is the left side. On the right side, I have the lettering. I've set it from cut, I changed it to draw, okay? And then I set it to Tool 2, which of course is the right side. Okay, so now we're ready to go to the cut window. So I click on Cutter. And then over here, I've got the left side, and then I'm going to leave the force at what I used for when I was cutting out my box pattern, which was set to a blade depth of 3, force of 25, speed of 12. And then, of course, score force doesn't apply because I don't have any items set to that. Remember this cut selection only. If you don't see your shape here, if you don't see that heart that's going to cut out, you need to turn this off because I happen to have the open meat. Of course, it didn't matter, but I had cut selection only, and the only way the heart was going to show up if I had it selected, which I don't. I've got it set to WYSIWYG, which is what I want. And again, I've saved this as a preset. You can make changes, and then if you want to save your new changes, then you would just click plus and give it a name. For the right side, then let's switch over here to blue. So now then I've got the draw pen selected. I don't need the prompt because I'm going to go straight from just drawing the lettering and then straight to cutting out the heart. I don't need it to pause. And then for the force, I have it set to 10, which I was using for embossing, I believe. But anyway, I'll go ahead and change this down to 7. And then, again, I could save this if I wanted to, and I could leave the speed at whatever I want. But at this point, I'm ready then to go ahead and click on Cut. Okay, and so we eject the mat, and now then, let's lift up. And then I have the little open me on the heart nicely drawn and cut out. Okay, I want to show you one more example, and I'm doing this one just to teach you a little bit more about how to set up something within SureCuts-A-Lot. So over here, I have a gray outline which represents a card. Now, let's say this card's already cut out, and so you're just going to be putting it onto the mat, and then on top of that, you're going to be using pens and switching out pens to draw these flowers and the lettering. So how would you set all this up? Well, first of all, this card down here, the base card that I have at the back, this is something that's new in SureCuts a Lot 6, and you can assign something to none. Instead of it being at cut or draw or whatever, you can assign it to none, which means that it's not going to be sent to print, it's not going to be sent to cut, it's not going to do anything. It's really just there for reference. And that also can be useful if you want to put some notes on the screen right here, about what font you might have used, or just any kind of, little bit of information that you'd want another user or just for yourself to remember. So that's the one thing. So I'm going to, so I've got that one. So now then with the happy birthday, I've used a single line font here again. I love the fonts from Single Line Fonts website. And so I've typed it out, and so I have it set to draw. And over here, I gave it a pen color of green. You have the option of using color or pen color. I believe you need to be consistent, but I could be wrong about that. That's one thing I keep meaning to do test on that. But typically, if you're switching out pens, just go ahead and use pen color. And of course, whatever you use doesn't have to match exactly what you're going to actually insert into your Cameo for. It's just, it's just for reference, just so that it'll pause between every color and let you change out that pen. I mean, that's the main reason you're using different pen colors, but you might want to match them up just so you don't get confused like I would. Then for the top and bottom row, I have these flowers. And I have the flowers grouped. And the way I set each one of those up before I did one flower, of course, before I did all the duplicates. And so the way that I have it set up is I have the outer part of the flower, I have a pen color of red, and then the inner little circle of the flower I have set to a pen color of yellow. Okay, so then when I'm ready to do the actual process, I go up here and I click on Cutter. And then I'm going to switch over to blue because everything's on the blue side. And that's what I recommend because of the fact that you want to enable this prompt so that it will stop between every color and you can change out the pen. And then go ahead and set, whatever force and speed that you would want to use. And then when you're ready, go ahead and click on Cut. And now then it's going to pop up. It's going to show you which color it wants to use first. So then you can mount your pen in whichever color. Let's assume that you're sticking with this and you're going to be doing red. And so over here you can see the red flowers are going to be drawn. And then you would go ahead and click on draw, and then it would go ahead and proceed to draw those flowers. Then I'm not going to do that right now because I want to just make this a little quicker so the video's not so long. But so I'm going to do skip job. But otherwise, if the same thing would happen at the end of draw, it would pop up and it'd have the next color up there, and it shows you yellow. So then it's waiting. The Cameo is paused, and so you can change out the color and then click draw, and it will go draw the yellow flowers. And then finally it will come up and it'll have the green color there, and then you can go ahead and draw it. And you'll notice over here that my outer rectangle, which now is showing up in green for some reason. I'm not sure what happened along there, probably in between takes. You'll notice it's not there, and that's because, remember, I had set it to none, so it wouldn't be sent to draw or to cut or do anything. It's just, it's just basically just there to give you, to use as a reference. So, but anyway, so then I click on draw, and it would go ahead and draw the happy birthday lettering there. So that's the process of using the Cameo 4 pen holder, on the right side in your Cameo 4. And of course, sending all this from SureCuts a Lot. And if you ever have any questions, please just look me up.